What's up everybody, welcome to another Heroes of the Storm match here on Khaldor TV. Today we're going to look at another HCL match where Acer was facing 3D Max on Garden of Terror. Garden of Terror is probably one of the maps where we have the longest games in Heroes of the Storm, and those matches are super intense. The seeds and of course the Garden Terrors are so important on this map, and both teams are constantly fighting for them, for the objectives. And we're going to jump into the game right away. I'm going to find out which team is going to take it here. Is it going to be Acer or is it going to be 3D Max? We're going to find out right now on Garden of Terror and Heroes of the Storm. Welcome everybody to Garden of Terror, game number 2 of today's HCL Playday. We're having Acer going up against 3D Max. To the left side of the map it is Acer Cypher. On Tychus we have Greenout playing Brightwing, Exxon on Murden, Starzerk is subbing in here today playing on Tacita, and we're having Holo playing Reyna. The team to the right side in red, it is 3D Max with ADRD on Sergeant Hammer. As you can see, I forgot it again. Shaihu on ETC. We have Yowo on Arthurs, Leo from Korea on Uther, and Nika is playing Vala in this game. We're on Garden of Terror, boys. This is a best of one, and let's see who takes it. The community has, of course, placed their bets on Stormcraft.com, and it looks like most of you guys think that 3D Max is going to make it. Let's find out if that's really the case, or if just the Polish community has suddenly invaded Stormcraft.com. I'm gonna find that out soon enough. Greenout already taking a bit of damage here and attacking the tower, soaking up some of the ammunition. He can easily just like jump back, but Shaihu is there and forces the cancel of the recall. I'm horribly mispronouncing that nickname, and I give up. I really give up. Somebody linked me the proper pronunciation, actually like an audio file on I think it was Leo, the dictionary on online. But yeah, I give up. I always forget how that guy is being pronounced, and it's just difficult for me. Apparently I'm too stupid, sorry. So Cypher at the top going up against Yoba, going down to the mid lane first. We're having a 3-man lane, a tri-lane for both of them in the middle, and down to the bottom of the map it is Greenhout against Shaihu. Against ETC, we should say. Okay, interestingly enough, see, Reyna actually going in this case for Seasoned Marksman. It's one of the talents that you can pick up on him if you're really not worried about dying and about staying alive, if you feel that your team is going to have your back. And I guess with the Tacita in the team, he can really go for that. The longer the game lasts, the higher the chances that that talent is really going to make a difference. And Garden of Terror is probably one of those maps where we see the longest matches in the game, and therefore I feel if there is any map out there where you would pick it, it would probably be this one. To the bottom of the map, we're having seats already taken by both teams. At the top, you could just a second ago see 3D Max claim the first few, and they're also going for the right camp right now. They're trying to steal as many as they can, but overall they lose out a bit, since down at the bottom lane, Holo and Exxon were very, very busy getting as many seats as they could. Oh, ADRD moving back on the hammer and nearly stunned out, but Exxon overcommitting, and 3D Max is getting the first kill in the game. The Polish team is jumping in here. Bot lane once again a center of attention for just a second as ETC moves in against Brightwing. Reno is playing in here. Level 5 versus level 5. The seed advantage for Acer though, and Acer has actually done very well the last few games. So they need to be extremely, well, they actually need to be extremely careful that they don't lose their advantage here again. I feel they have a good chance of winning that. And I guess I'm trying with Shaihu. That's probably a bit more accurate, but in general I think I'm just making a fool out of myself trying to pronounce his nickname. Every time I hear it, I feel like I can copy it nearly flawlessly, and then 2 minutes later I already forgot how the nuances of the pronunciation are, and I'm losing out already. Alright, so level 6 for both teams, and that means that on level 4 we have talents taken. Interesting enough, it is Regeneration Master picked up on the tank. We see that every now and then if Nika plays that hero, but right now I would have expected him to go for a more normal build. Nika actually in this case is playing Vala, so we're having the tank currently not played by him, which might be the explanation. ADRD is the one who is picking it up here. Oh, again a kill for 3D Max. They're doing really well here. 2 versus 0 kills. They get a fair amount of seeds, but I have to say that most of the seeds were stolen by the opponent. 90 against 30, so nearly all of them went to Acer. They traded it in against for 2 kills though. and I'm not quite sure if that was really worth it. 3 kills against 0, and nearly a level advantage at this point for 3D Max, and they are trying to run with that and push in the wall down here. They're doing really well. Up to the top, what do we see there? It is the Big Garden Terror attacked, and well, Cypher is the only one who really tries to contest that. On this Zebra, he's riding into battle as a rainbow farting unicorn is joining him. Holo is already there. Some of those StarCraft characters have very weird taste in mounts. There comes Starzerk again, trying to claim as many as he can. Nice, he's being pushed back at Yova. Oh my god, like how did he stay alive? Exxon is trying to get close enough to him to take him down, but it is Tassadar that dies. Finally, the first kill for Acer. They get Vala here, but what a fight that we just saw. They're like both teams aiming for it in AD RD. Okay, this time he didn't get away. We have 2 kills against 4, but it is, as you can see, still a massive lead in experience for 3D Max, and they go in to take another hero down, but they sacrifice Arthas in the process. So nearly, well, level 9 actually for both of them, hitting any second now. Looking at the builds once again, the one thing that we could point out is that on level 7 we have Guitar Hero being picked and Echo Paddle on level 4. It's pretty normal build for ETC, kind of the standard build when you see him being played, but as he doesn't make an appearance all that often, I think we should probably focus on him a bit in this game, just so that you guys get a bit of an idea of what's very popular with him. Looking at the rest of the build, we're having Reyna with the advanced optics on level 4 and then searing attacks on level 7. So pretty normal build for him, disregarding the seasoned marksman, which is always an option on a map where you expect a long game, and then you can really dish out damage later on, but of course you give up a bit of your survivability in order to do so. We have seeds, or like not only seeds grabbed, but also now camps taken, and with level 10 on the board, this is the time when 3D Max is really starting to become a bit cheeky and moves in here to take that hard camp away from Team Acer. Acer now finally reaching their heroic abilities as well. We're gonna take a look at Reyna a little bit later down the road. Right now, if you look at him, actually on the talent, we have attack damage with 158 right now. So that's the only thing that I can really show you just here, because we don't have that talent, so we can hover over it. Is there some way that we can see the extra attack damage? Unfortunately not. Okay, that would have been a bit too easy for us. But yeah, the damage overall, I can show you that later on, so that you have a bit of an idea how much damage he really does. Nika, for example, is at 135, so already making a bit of a difference. But as he gets a Storm Bolt into his face, Nika isn't doing anything. This is kill number 4 for Acer, and it's a 5 versus 4 in kills. Level 12 nearly for 3D Max, but they have to be very careful, because now they are fighting on eye level with their opponents. What I like about Reyna here in this case is that we have actually a different ultimate chosen for Holo 2. He's not going for Reyna's Reyna. Nice kill against ETC, by the way. Very well done here, getting that in. Good stun that we saw from Murden. But as I've already mentioned, if you're fighting for those terrors, or you're putting up a siege against your opponent's structures with the terrors, you can utilize the Hyperion, and that is what Holo on Reyna is doing in this game. So he's not going for Reyna's Raiders, which is what you usually try to do if you want to focus down a single hero and you go for a target focus to eliminate somebody. But in this case, that's not what happens here. He goes for the Area of Effect ultimate, and that's going to be an interesting one. Another kill at the top lane, apparently. AD RD not making it, and suddenly it is Acer who is ahead. 3D Max is starting to, I don't want to say fall apart, we're not there yet, but they are losing their advantage. They're waiting for the level 13 now. They have picked up the Mosh Pit on ETC. And looking now at the level 13 talents, let's see what they pick up here. Frost Shot is taken by Vala, going for that immediately. Rockstar Aura for ETC, not a big surprise, kind of what we expected. Double rewind, by the way, on the side of Acer. Nika is now moving in together with ETC and trying to utilize that. Over to the right side is claiming the seeds here for his team, and the bottom lane goes straight to to Acer, where they're claiming even more. So we have actually like Exxon, Green out, Starzerk and Holo dominating the bottom lane. Shaihu is currently moving in together with ETC here, and Yova at the front line. They're trying to just knock them out, and here comes the Howling Blast, and immediately, oh, and is he going for the Mosh Pit? Is he going for the Mosh Pit right now? He could lock 1 or 2 down. He's trying to, I think, nope, we didn't see that just yet, but a lot of damage already dished out, especially with the Storm, and Starzerg is already on Archon form as Sypho is moving in. Shaihu is trying to get a good position. Sergeant Hammer is already dead though, and Reyna is dropping at the same time, so he couldn't make it here either. We have Green out, Exxon and Starzerg still with pretty much a lot of hit points. Exxon doesn't have to worry about that. On Muradin you usually get those HP back immediately thanks to his passive, and at level 16 you can use the Stone form without any problems whatsoever. Greenout is of course jumping back and in with his phase shift. It's easily done. And we're still seeing the first plant in the game with Sypho moving down to the bot lane and trying to drop his pots, but also 3D Max in control of one plant in the mid lane where they're trying to push in some structures. Acer is doing very well here, and as mentioned before, a lot of people in the community were thinking that 3D Max would be able to take this game, but so far Acer is a bit ahead. They have 7 kills against 6 as well, and in the mid lane we have Leo from Korea, Yova and Nika just going for their positions right now, catching the additional seeds that they need here, or at least trying to do that. And down there it is Sergeant Hammer that was taken out in the mid lane again as he was trying to defend the fort. That didn't really work for him, but 4 heroes are starting to push that in right now, and with that healing ward in the back there's very little chance of them having to retreat, at least not for now. But Nika and Leo are moving in now, trying to push it back at the top lane. A fort already destroyed by Yova, who was on the plant for his team, down to the bottom lane. Shaihu is still there with, yeah, he's busy with Sypho, but Sypho is doing a decent job on Taika staying away and just using the overkill to dish out some damage. We have also, with now the level 16 talents just around the corner, an opportunity for Acer to maybe drop that fort and get that talent faster, and it looks like, yeah, Exxon is moving in, gets the 16 for his team, and maybe they can force a fight now. They already have Bullseye on Reyna, which is a great talent if you want to focus down a target and add extra stun to your combo. We're having Stone Form taken by Muradin, and also in Stone Skin for good old Tychus. Makes him a bit more tankier with that extra hit point pool that he has on Odin. That's already a reality, but that makes it even worse. Quitterize is taken here as well on Brightwing, as you can see, and they are starting to move up to the top to maybe drop another keep there. We see 3D Max also with the level 16, and that means hovering mode for Sergeant Hammer. We have double imposing presence, once on Uther and once on ETC, Stone Skin on Arthas and Blood for Blood on Vala, whereas the hard camps are now claimed by Acer. Acer still has a slight leading experience, but both teams are very close to each other now. 8 kills versus 6 kills in this game. Shaihu is still in position where he could try and move in and get one of his mosh pits off, but of course there is a lot of stuff that can interrupt that, starting with Reyna's penetrating round, the Storm Ball of X, and then even the grenade on Sypho. So not sure if that was really the best ultimate to take here on ETC. We've seen Stage Dive in the last game already used. It gives you a global presence that he could use in those games, but still, if he gets the perfect mosh pit off, then of course a battle can just like change in an instant. And here comes Exxon with a stun, trying to use that to maybe get the initiation in here. Holo's waiting for an opportunity to take his opponents down. Of course, with the seasoned marksman 11 minutes in, he doesn't really have the damage just yet, but later on he will become even stronger. And he's already moving into together with the rest of the team. Rain of Vengeance being used, but Nika had to vault back here. ADRD might have to activate his thrusters any seconds right now to move away from the fight. Leo is being, oh my god, he uses sprint just to get away from the Storm Bolt. You could really see that Storm Bolt heading towards his face, but he hit sprint fast enough to get away from it. Nice move by ADRD using Napalm to unhorse the Acer heroes, but Sypho is there with a grenade pushing them back, at least for now. And, well, Sypho is once again being attacked here. And here comes Hyperion. Hyperion doing the damage, and Shaihu already forced out of his mosh pit. Exxon going down, and the immediate attack against Starzerg, who moves away with the dimensional shift. Actually gets away here too, but oh my god, moves in, and Uther takes him on. 3 kills now as Brightwing suddenly dies as well. Acer is starting to fall behind rapidly. They're losing way too many heroes, and somehow Arthas was able to survive with nearly no hit points whatsoever. Over here it's another pressure move, but Uther actually overextending too much, not able to get close enough to Sypho either. So in the end it's a 3 versus 2 trade that they're going for here. But still a lot of heroes on the map, so ADRD and the rest of the 3D Max team can now start to collect some seeds. They have one plant growing already, And, well, they're going to find out soon enough what they can do with that. So they're going to move down to the bot lane, going straight for the seeds here, and job well done so far. I mean, they are taking all the seeds away from their opponents, and they captured every single one of the easy camps, except for the one to the right side. If they can get one of the big plants too, that would more or less guarantee them a second plant after the first one, and that would be the ideal situation. If they can take them away from the opponent too, that would be even better. Uther isn't here yet though. There comes the Rain of Vengeance. Great Rain of Vengeance, at least the first wave. Exxon is using Stoneform, but he's getting focused, but down goes ETC. And the one thing that they have done really well in this game is keeping Reyna alive. Reyna is really a hero that if you can initiate against him, he dies very, very fast. Stuns are perfect against him, and he's very difficult to keep alive if you have a lot of good initiators. But in this case, actually, there's not really all that much that can get Reyna into a bad spot. With a Tyrael on the game or Stitches on the other team, you can do a lot more than that. But Holo has really paid attention a lot to his positioning, was doing very well with that, and this is why he gets a lot of damage in. We're talking single target damage here. If you look at the damage output by him, it's 36,000. That is absolutely amazing. It's really good DPS that we're seeing from him. Hyperion, of course, helps with that even more than the Reyna's Raiders, just because it's not single target but a bit more of area damage, and in those battles here, that accounts for a lot. So Reyna doing very well in this game, so do Vala and Sergeant Hammer. Looking at the talents again, we have now the fight in the middle. Well, Jove might be stunned out. Yes, he is. It's plant versus plant fight, but maybe another plant spawning for 3D Max soon. They can grab a few of the seeds off, but most of them go to Acer. So they avert the second plant, the back-for-back plant for now. It's 18 versus 18, and Acer is still slightly ahead in experience. At this point, we're having Starzerk, Green out, and the rest of Acer moving into position in the mid lane. And this game, 15 minutes in, is really starting to become a very tense one. I mean, right now, 11 kills against 9. Both teams are just like waiting for an opportunity to turn things around here and maybe like kill 2 or 3 heroes so that they can finally push in the first keep. But we still have a few forts alive. In the mid lane, the fort for Acer. At the bottom lane, it's a fort that we're seeing for 3 Max, stopping the opponent. Yoba is finally taking at least this one out, and that gives them nearly level 19, so they're very close to catching up in experience with Acer. But Brightwing, Green out at the top, is not only trying to deep push here, he's also getting the extra experience now. And the creeps or the minions on the bottom lane were already doing Acer a favor and taking out at least the fort. So a lot of experience ending up for both teams, and both of them are waiting for level 20. They both want to go for level 20 and want to try to take that. They're having the tower eliminated in the middle, more experience, and it's like every single drop here counts, every single one. And Starzerk is just waiting. Here's another 4 seconds on the plant. They won't be able to get another pot in there, but maybe a polymorph attempt. Nope, doesn't get anything done. Starzerk might have to use his dimensional shift to get away. Yes, Jova is going for the Howling Blast. Exxon is still there, trying to cover his allies' retreat with another Stormbolt that he could utilize. Nice penetrating round by Holo, pushing Arthur's back, and they are not initiating just yet. Look at that experience. It's nearly in level. It's nearly the 20. And 3D Max knows that, but they can't do anything against Holo simply bribing their easy camp. Down to the mid lane, we're having once again another wave eliminated by Acer, and they will hit that talent in just a few seconds. And it looks like, does 3D Max really want to try and fight before that happens? It looked like it for a second, but I guess they're not going to do it. They're trying to look at a battle down here and at least saving those seed shines that we see to the right side of the map. I don't think that's really going to work out for Acer. They are really taking this fight, aren't they? Oh, there's the 20, and that of course changes things once again. Already the Bolt of the Storm on Reyna. Finally, Holo can take a deep breath and relax, because that is going to make it so much easier for him in those battles. He's done an amazing job already on Reyna, but now it's going to be much, much easier for him to get his damage in. He's already moving in with the Inspire, getting that extra damage and attack speed for his team. Healing Ward in the back. Exxon on the Avatar. Level 20 gives them a double Storm Shield, and we're having also the upgrade on the Muradin Ultimate and the also the Odin, of course. They're moving in once again. Cypher is in the back. A lot of DPS already dished out here. Level 19.5 for 3 Max. They're still not done yet. They were for a long time known as the team that would always fall behind in the game and then suddenly start an insane comeback. But right now, can they do that again? Because they have to fight their way back somehow, and they're actually the ones pushing the opponent away. They don't want to give up that Siege Giant camp, but they do a very good job at still keeping it in the battle. We already have Exxon, Holo, Green out, Cypher and Stars are trying to maybe push at least the wall in while they have the advantage, but so far they didn't get a chance to do anything here. Especially ADRD in the back line with his napalm is always pressuring them hard, but finally the camp is taken and it doesn't look like they're gonna try and jump for it. Shaihu is not jumping in with ETC, he could have. Here comes also the Hyperion. A lot of heroic abilities have actually been used, and Acer is only using them to push in that wall here. I guess at least Hyperion was wasted and didn't do anything else but push the opponent back. Now with the E and the nuclear missile that they have at disposal on Odin, they can at least pressure ADRD a bit more, but the wall is down, more experience taken. I have no idea what Yobo and Arthas is doing back there. Maybe he's trying to lock somebody out and he can go for a... Oh, Reina! Oh, he should still have the blink, and he's using it. Has the blink, uses it down here, they're jumping in again. Nice stun, but Leo goes down. Rain of Vengeance being used against Exxon. They're trying to drop him. They at least get Green out. The healers are already down. Healing wards are still active or were just a second ago. ADRD is low and needs to retreat, and Yowa is dying as well. Job well done here. And yeah, Starzerk and Team Acer are doing a great job. 2 heroes down for 3D Max at the perfect time now for Acer, and 3D Max has to somehow get to the top lane and collect a few of the seeds if they really want to be able to contest this. Looking at the damage again, this is now the time, this late in the game, where Reina is going to start to pick up a lot more DPS. One of the reasons why he was able to get Seasoned Marksman in this game and not Give Me More, which is still the standard talent in competitive play for Reina, is that we're having a Tassadar in this game that can keep him alive. And now with level 20 and the Bolt of the Storm being a fact, he has, of course, a much easier game. But with 20 minutes on the clock, Reina suddenly is really starting to capitalize on the Seasoned Marksman talent, and that will help them a lot here. And his damage is already pretty good. Not as good as Vala's or as good as Sergeant Hammer's, but a lot of that is single target damage, and that accounts for a lot. We now have level 20, of course, for the Polish team too, and that gives us a double Bolt of the Storm. ETC has one there too, gives him a lot of mobility. We have the advanced Lava Strike on Sergeant Hammer, a lot of range, a lot of damage, and he's trying to use it. Here comes that healing ward again. Can Leo or Nika, can one of them get close enough to really take that down? It doesn't look like it. We have one plan growing for both of the teams, and they're trying to go for the seeds. Here comes Shaihu, is trying to move in. Exxon is about to die, and he goes down on Muradin. Doesn't stand a chance. Locked down, stunned out, and eliminated. And now they're trying to go for Green out. But the call has been made. They're moving back. Hyperion is not making a difference, at least not in this battle. Level 21 versus level 20, and we have a great game on our hands, boys. Level 11 versus level 13. Very, very close match. The plans are starting to come into play. Where's the terror that we're seeing for the opponent's team? The respawn in 20, that's what we're going to see there. So apparently they were missing out on that. We have plan moving straight into the middle for now. Did they actually miss the plant? It looks like they did, right? I mean, am I blind? I might be seeing things here, but it looks to me like they were missing out the plant. I could have sworn that there was a plant growing for both of the teams earlier, but they might have missed that. So the Terror for 3D Max is moving into the mid lane and is trying to push that in. And they have still a lot of time on that, and they also have 3 more seconds until Muradin is back, so the wall is gone. They might be able to threaten the keep, and yeah, the plant is gone. There's no plant right now for Acer. I really think that they just missed the time on it and now don't have it available to counter push this one. They still have 94 seats though. Exxon, Starzerk, Green on Holo, they're trying to especially take down the Hammer somehow, and that's not going to be easy. If you have that plant at the front line that can go for the polymorph, the Hammer should be really safe, and that's exactly what they're doing right now. Shaihu is moving in, and he's about to die. Oh my god, like didn't utilize his ult here properly, and also not the Bolt of the Storm to get away, and we have Hyperion being used, and suddenly Acer is moving in, and oh boy, these guys are mad, aren't they? Nice Howling Blast, but once again the Dwarf is jumping. It's just bunny hopping to the front. Exxon needs to move away, overdoing it a bit here, but they lost ETC, the Polish team that is, so they had to move away once again. 22 versus 21 the levels here, and let's see how this is going to work out for them. 11 kills against 14 right now. That's what we're seeing. We have the Siege Giant camp taken over here. It is also another hard camp that's being attacked by Acer. It's just map control. Trying to get the map control, trying to make sure that they're getting as much as they can. And well, let's see. Apparently earlier I actually misspoke and said instead of kills, 13 kills against 11 kills, I said levels. Of course, if you are smart enough and you have an IQ over 20, then you realize that I misspoke and meant kills, not levels. But apparently Twitch chat wasn't really that smart. So right now we're having Acer still running with that advantage that they get. They have lost the keep though. That's the disadvantage that they're running with. This is why this game is so interesting. Like apparently they missed out on one of their plans. They lost the plans, which was a big blunder to them. It was a big mistake, a big blunder. And the problem for them is just that they lost the keep in the mid lane. They have done a great job at keeping the advantage in experience, getting the 20 earlier, pushing that in, running that game with that lead, but they were not in a position where they could just simply kill a keep themselves. And that is a big issue right now. So looking at that, we have still a slight advantage for, I would actually say, 3D Max. I mean, that level advantage is of course nice, but that doesn't give you anything after level 20 except for a stat advantage, and that alone doesn't make up for the plant that took out the keep in the middle. They have a lot of seats though, and they will easily get a plant right now, and 3D Max has to be careful that they are at least able to grab up 60 seats, or they're gonna have a big problem at their hand, because this late into the game, this is gonna make a huge difference. And never forget about Reyna having Seasoned Marksman. On most of the maps, I can guarantee you that Khaldor would have picked up Give Me More, but with the Tassadar support, he could go for Seasoned Marksman, and on this map, it is a good talent to take because the games here tend to last very long in comparison to matches on other maps in the game. Like for example Sky Temple, or just like talking a map like Dragonshire or Cursed Hollow. So we have 24 minutes already on the clock, and that Seasoned Marksman talent is kicking in, and it's kicking in pretty hard. We're going to talk about that in a second. The plant down here is being taken. There is one Terror already growing for the blue team, and 3D Max, they want to get their seats. They're gonna get for them right away, and they have enough. So they get a plant too, but can they get away? That's the big question here. Shaihu is getting, he's using every stun that he has, and they are rushing away right now. That Rockstar Aura is helping them out. Let's look a bit at damage. Right-click damage currently on Tychus is at 104. Let's get a bit of comparison. 317 on Hammer and 217 on Vala. You can't really click on Holo just yet. The Garden Terror alone has 900 damage per hit already, and that wrecks the keep down at the bot lane. No chance to keep that alive, but I'm curious to see how much damage with the right click attack Reyna has accumulated thanks to the Seasoned Marksman talent. We're going to see that as soon as he drops out of the plant, and that's going to be soon because 3D Max is really high on his heels, trying to get him out there. And he's at 360, so he's even out DPSing the Sergeant now. He's out DPSing the Sergeant by 50 damage per hit, which is pretty amazing. So really nicely done there. On a map like this, the 360 damage absolutely amazing. And don't forget about the searing attacks that he can use as well. The blink back or the TP back used already just to make sure that they can get into position to defend against the plant, because there's another minute on the clock for Shaihu to get his damage in against the core, and it looks very much like 3D Max is tempted to go for a core here. It's a 5 versus 5, and there's a plant versus no plant. Saifu activating already the Odin. Where is that Reyna ultimate? He already used it, it's still in cooldown. Oh, Green out dies! No, he dies way too soon here. Oh my god, Exxon is jumping back on Muradin. They're trying to keep them alive here. The nuke, at least for now, pushing the plant back. Exxon needs to heal up, and he can do that in a second, but Odin is gonna run out in just a few as well. We're having Shaihu at the front, moving in the back. Lady already is starting to do a lot of damage, but he's getting pushed back by Holo. Holo just doing so much right-click damage by now, especially with searing attacks, and if he's able to get a bullseye in before that. Yeah, there goes the plant, moving back already, but 80% only on the core. Can they maybe drop one of the heroes? They're trying. They're chasing them already. This is a 4 versus 5 still, boys. Keep that in mind. 27 minutes in. This game is gonna get crazy. This is gonna get really crazy right now. Oh, and once again the attempt to drop one. Exxon is polymorphed. Oh, Nika just barely gets away. Nice stun that we're seeing from Leo. Not stunning too much. We still have a 4 versus 5, and ETC didn't hit the best ultimate there. Exxon, the rest of the team trying to move in again. And now we have Reyna actually at 365 damage that he has there. He's getting a lot of DPS then with this. And yeah, looking at the stats actually in damage, Reyna is currently at 75,000 hero damage, but look at that hammer, 125. Napalm makes it possible. That advanced lava strike is just insane when it comes to that. And Vala with 90,000 is of course a close second. It's again the fight for the seats. They're going for the battle up at the top, and the healing ward is already placed in a really good location. They're taking the small camp while trying to wait out the opponent here. At the top there's Yowe waiting for the initiation. Nice howling blast against 2. We're also seeing more seats taken down here, but it is that seat advantage that we're seeing for Acer that of course makes it difficult for 3D Max. They are the ones under pressure here. They lost the keep at the bottom earlier, and just look at that 3 catapult wave that is starting to threaten the core. The longer this fight at the top goes, the more damage that core will have to suffer, and they know that too. They're already moving back. They need to get their seats somewhere else, but if they give the seats up here at the top, they might actually face another plant. It's a close one, but it doesn't just... It barely isn't enough. 22 seats still missing. They already de-pushed the bottom lane, so that's not going to be a threat, but the siege giants at the top are pushing this one over as well. 29 minutes in. This game is still any team's game to take. 14 kills against 12. We're having Sypho, Exon and Green out, starting to move into the middle. Here comes Shaihu getting the stun of Exon. Howling Blast locked down. And they're moving back again. They're already split. Acer was able to drive a wedge between the team. The heroes splitting up, moving back. Exon, of course, now with the Stormbolt build, doing 2,000 damage per Stormbolt against structures. 2,000! That's how much damage he does with his Stormbolts, thanks to the level 1 and level 4 talent that he's using here in Mirrodin. Looking at those talents again, if you want to have a closer look at the builds that we are using, this is of course exactly what's coming into play right now. And you know, in a situation like this, Hyperion might not be the best talent for you to take. That might be a situation where you would benefit more from Reyna's Raiders, but earlier in the game, Hyperion contributed just a lot to the situation that we have right now and them getting into this position. Level 24 versus level 23. The death timers at this point are insanely high. One death can completely change the outcome of the game and immediately lead to your demise. 80% on the core for Acer, 100% on the core for 3 Max, but who's going to take this game? We have another hard camp being fought over, and this time they are moving in, trying to go for the lockdown. Here comes the Hyperion. Great Hyperion move. Raid of Vengeance being used, and just look how much damage the Hyperion is able to get in there. Really well done. Forces the opponent away, but they already stole the hard camp, so in this case hard camp has to be defended against. Archon was used here as well. There's so much pressure on these players. Just think about it. They all know that one fight that doesn't go their way is the fight that might cost them the game, so they activate their heroic abilities very early. The opponent can disengage, they can wait it out, and you always know if you just like hit that ultimate a bit too late, if you make one wrong move, one wrong click, or one bolt too late, just a second, then you might lose the game because of that and get steamrolled. Oh, and ADRD, wow, the adrenaline, I can't even imagine. Gets the thrusters just in a second and goes for a quick detour around the Stormball that Exon was throwing against him. With that rewind talent that he has, he's of course extremely dangerous. They're already moving back again down in the bot lane, the same picture that we had earlier. They need to de-push that lane every now and then to make sure that there is no problem. We're gonna see seeds on the map very soon once more, and as soon as those seeds appear, you all know what that means. Yep, as soon as the seeds are there, we are going to see a fierce battle over every single one of them, so that both teams have at least one plant, and you cannot afford to fight, like, you cannot afford, like, there's no possibility that you can win against a plant now if you do not have a plant on your own. So if Acer gets 2 plant in a row, if they capture 122 seats in the next night, then they basically have an auto win here. If we, on the other hand, see Acer taking a plant and 3 Max not being able to get 78 seats to get hit their 100 as well, then Acer is most likely going to win this match as well, because 32 minutes in, those plants are monsters. Godzilla is nothing against them. Godzilla is like a child's toy against the plant at this point of time. And we're having 3D Max moving in. Acer is extremely close to their plant. They only need 7 seats. That's all that they need, and 3D Max knows that. They're gonna try and fight for that, and they need to fight for that right now. They need to somehow get either the seats themselves or need to interfere when they're trying. But that Stormbolt hitting 2, and the rewind already used. Oh, ETC blinking back in the last second. Hyperion triggered, but waited out. Odin taken out too, and it looks like 3D Max is trying to get disengaged to wait that out. Stormbolt is missing. Slow shot from Nika, using that multi-shot to just slow the opponent down in that onslaught, but just lose. Look at those ults. They're nearly down. Avatar has been taken, and 3D Max used nothing. They used nothing. Not a single ult. This is their time to shine. They're moving in. They're going straight for it. They're slowing the opponent down, and they ignore them and go for the seeds instead. Acer knows that they are in a really awkward spot right now, that they cannot really take that, but look at this disaster at the top lane. The Siege Shine camp that we pointed out earlier took down another keep, and suddenly that core is under pressure from 2 lanes and not only one. We have already the plant moving in. Sypho is grabbing it up here to the top. 3D Max, they're rushing it. They're rushing the seeds, and they get them. They get the seeds, but Acer wants to finish it now. Acer is moving in. They are done. They are completely done with this game. They're like, okay guys, it was fun, but right now we're gonna end it. We're gonna end it right now. They're going straight for it. The Siege Giant camp already annihilated. Here comes the plant. They need to get it, and they need to get it now. Time left is roughly a minute. They're going for it with ETC down here. Sypho is already in position. They're just going to try and right-click it. Can Acer win this after they were already down in plant hit points? It's plant versus plant. Exxon, keep in mind, he does more than 2,200 damage with the simple Stormbolt. They're moving in. Leo with a stun. Another great stun. Greenout is already down, but here comes the Hyperion as well, and Sypho does so much damage, and it is the victory for Team Acer. 3D Max defeated, and the Acer takes the battle, takes the map, takes Garden of Terror against the Polish team.